Well, hey, good morning, everybody. Been a little while since I made a video, but I'm back on it. Had to make some changes in life, and change is always good. No matter what the forum, no matter how it is expressed, it's always good, because it's always, on this planet Earth, and in any non-physical realm, going to serve your highest good at all times, regardless of the situation. So let's jump right into today's video. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about guidance. I don't have to be anything special to tell you or to know that each and every person at some point in their life is going to grapple with the question, who am I? Why am I here? Two questions. Who am I? Why am I here? I know this because I asked these questions, and everybody is going to ask these questions of themselves at some point or another. I want to talk about the three different types of selves that you're going to encounter and live with while occupying a physical body. The first self is your material self. It is the concept, the culmination, the identity that you either accept or reject based on your environmental surroundings and the sum total of all the things that you own. Material self examples could be, I am a BMW owner. I am the owner of a Honda. I am a homeowner. I have nice clothes. I enjoy watches. I enjoy walks on the beach. I am a beach person. I am a mountain person. These things culminate, again, the sum total of things that you own and your identity of yourself in relation and in regards to that body of accumulated material possessions. Next is the social self. How you interact with your environment and others. Ask yourself the question, do I behave differently around my parents than I do with my children, than I do with my significant other, than I do out in a public setting? Is the environment affecting the way that I present myself to the world? A man by the name of William Blake, I believe, said that as many people as there are that recognize you, such is the number of social selves that you have. Is this true for you? Ask yourself that question. Sit down and ask yourself, do my environmental situations, surroundings, scenarios dictate my behavior? Or do I carry a consistent rapport into my environments and influence my environments? We'll talk more about that in a minute. The third self is your spiritual self. How you identify yourself in relation to esoteric, non-physical concepts. Whether or not you do or do not believe in God, whether or not you do or do not believe in the soul, whether or not you do and or do not believe that there is a larger force at work, all of these things, as you move through life and think about them, translate into your spiritual self. Now, if you've ever watched one of my videos, you know I'm going to get philosophical, you know I'm going to get spiritual, you know I'm going to take you down that path. Let's talk about guidance here, okay? Again, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I am a spiritual man. This is how I identify, okay? I am a fractalized portion of the one infinite creator having a human experience. In this life, because I believe in reincarnation, in this life, I am a man having a male experience, working on becoming a double-poled being, in that I equally express my femininity and masculinity. My logic does not outweigh my creativity, nor does my creativity outweigh my logic. Okay, that said, kind of like disclaimer, guidance. When we are approaching these three different selves whilst in introspection, you're going to need to literally sit down with yourself. I'm sweating, by the way, because it's hot. It's Florida. You're going to need to sit down with yourself at some point or another and ask yourself for answers to these questions, to seek clarity, especially if you feel anxious, or if there's any kind of degree of confusion in your life, or if some kind of change unsettles your concept of who you are and what you're here to do on this planet. So in introspection, whilst asking the question of who are you, why am I here, you'll need some guidance. And the best guidance comes from within. But how are we able to discern from this? Because the mind, in its most basic definition, is a file cabinet. And it catalogs and categorizes your experience. This thing goes here, this thing goes here, that thing goes there, this thing goes here. And any time that you're approached with a decision to make, your mind, as conditioned by your experiences, is going to go into the pertinent file cabinet. Shopping, sex, exercise, food. It's going to go into that file cabinet, okay? Money. And it's going to draw from your past experiences to assist you in making the best decision. If we're talking about finances, and this comes from the book Millionaire Mind Intensive Ceremonies. That's not the title of the book, but that's how you can find this book. He uses the author uses the example of his wife. His wife is shopping. His wife sees a green purse at 25% off, and she asks herself, should I buy that purse? Her mind says, well, you've been looking for a green purse to go with those green shoes. So yes, you should get it, because what a deal, it's 25% off. Whilst she's buying that purse, she's feeling good, because now she believes she needs it, so she is getting it. But how does a wealthy individual think? That's her mind going into her past experience categories as applies to wealth and shopping and money, drawing from past experience and making a decision. Let's say she has $3,000 debt, but her mind doesn't think, you have $3,000 of debt, don't spend any more money. It just thinks, I need that purse to go with these shoes. So that category, because the experience isn't there, the experience material to draw from isn't there to say, no, let's save our money and apply it towards debt reduction, doesn't exist in her mind. She's not going to draw from that experience because she does not have that thought process. Why am I talking about this? because your mind is your greatest ally once you know how to use it. Once you have trained it to be your greatest ally, once you have learned from individuals and adopted the idealistic, not the idolistic, the idealistic modalities in which to draw from, once you have filed the highest, most best type of experience material to draw from to achieve the greatest outcomes. At all times, all things are working for your highest good. And at all times, all of the experience material that you accumulate in one life is being categorized and placed into mental Akashic record bins, B-E-B-I-N-S, bins, from which you can draw from to make the best decisions. How do you tap into this? How do we tap into this before we've actually read the books, seen the individuals, learned from the mentors, and adopted these ideal forms of behavior and thought process? Very simple. We contact our spiritual self, 98% of which, give or take, is existing in this vast expanse of the universe, this non-physical realm that we call the universe, in which the universe, all information is contained in its perfect form. You could call them golden copies. Any question you could ever want to have answered, the perfect answer exists in the non-physical. The collective consciousness of all thoughts that have ever been thought or ever will be thought. And all perfect, infinite solutions are yours to attain. How do we intuit these answers? How do we discern that which is truly going to serve our highest good, as opposed to what our material self or our social self, which is finite in its nature, is going to tell us is best for us? So a little bit of a recap. The finite self may not always respond, react, or make the decisions that are going to serve your highest good, not because your finite self is bad, but because it may not have sufficient experience material from which to draw, from which to discern whether or not you are repeating habits that do not serve you, as opposed to the finite self, which has lived all experiences and will always know what decision, what course of action is going to serve your highest good, even if the finite self doesn't like, agree with, or want to go along with whatever past path is truly best for you to take. How do we discern what the spiritual self would have us do? You're not subject to the spiritual self. Your free will reigns at all times, and you have the ability to make whatever decisions you want at all times. If you are at this place in your life where you would like to contact the spiritual self and intuit and interpret accurately what the larger portion of you would have you do, there are a few simple techniques that I like to use that are age-old, that I have tested, tried, and found to be true. Here we go. Your heart is the seat of your intuition. The mind manifests what the heart interprets as being correct. Okay, let me say this again. The heart is the seat of your intuitive reciprocity. The mind is the supercomputer that generates that which is for your best good, or your not so best good, depending on whatever decision you make. Okay? The mind manifests it, the heart intuits it. Marrying these two things, these two supercomputers, will serve your highest good. Truly it will. Alright. So the heart's the seat of creativity, the mind is the seat of logic. The heart will tell you what it intuits to be the best. Okay? It may not be the most logical, but it will intuit what is the best, what is the most heartfelt, what is the most loving course of action to take. All right. I close my eyes. I ask for the answer or guidance to whatever it is I'm seeking. And in my mind's eye, I see the vortex of energy, which is the heart chakra. Think of it like a tornado spiraling outwards away from you or within you, depending on that which is going to serve your highest good. The heart chakra and the energy flowing from it will vibrate clockwise or counterclockwise, as anyone would be looking at you, as you would be looking at yourself in the mirror. Okay? So as I'm standing here, clockwise is right to left. Clockwise. If my heart mind interprets the answer as yes, go, do, the heart mind will rotate in a clockwise manner. If the heart interprets restrain, refrain, no, it will rotate in a counterclockwise manner. You'll have to feel this. You'll have to interpret it. You'll have to practice it to know what's going on with you. Option number 2, stand facing north. North is this way as I face. Take off your shoes if you can, and ask yourself whatever it is you're going to ask yourself, and then be free to drift. If you drift forward up onto your toes, your highest self is interpreting go, move, yes, move in the direction of your thought. If the heart mind, if your highest self interprets no, you will literally feel this as though an invisible hand is boop, your invisible hand, your esoteric self. It will guide you to refrain. Whoa, don't step off this curb, there's a car coming. Or go, the path is clear, the flight deck, the flight pattern is open. So you are clear to buzz the tower. All right, those are the 2 ways in which I intuit answers to my own questions, no matter what they are. Important side note, important note period. If you ask the question and you don't move, you remain rock solid, balanced. You gotta have your eyes closed for this, by the way. Your eyes have to be closed. You interpret it as, and you feel yourself just like, boop, you don't move at all, it's because you already know the answer. You've already asked the question, you've already been given the answer, and you already know what it is. You may be second guessing yourself, you may be trying to get the universe to give you another answer, but guess what the universe does not do? It gives you all the answers to all your questions. It gives them to you one time. and you always remember the answers to those questions. So therefore, if you don't receive sway, you don't receive guidance, it's because you've already received the guidance, and you either are not acting on the guidance, or you have yet to act on the guidance. But your vibrational escrow, in terms of receiving the answer to that question particularly, has already manifested itself into your consciousness. The answer is already there. It's already in your infinite mind, your finite mind as well. It's already in one of the categories from which you're going to draw from. And all you need to do, because you already know where it is, you already know the answer to that question. All you need to do is be like, yep, I remember where I put that answer. Boop, pull it out. Remind yourself that you've already received the answer. It's already yes or it's already no. And then move in the direction of whatever that guidance is. All right. Have a wonderful day. Hey, there's a third way. You can go to your local rock shop. You can get a little pendulum, like it's a little crystal, hangs from a string. You just hold it over the palm of your hand, and then it'll either rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, depending on the same way. That's how I learned how to use the heart chakra. Whatever way it moves without you influencing it, you just hang as still as you possibly can. Whatever way that it moves, that's the answer to your question. Clockwise, yes. Counterclockwise, no. If it literally just hangs there like there's an invisible string tying it to the ground and it's not going to move, neutral. You already have the answer. You already know the answer.